This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, I'd like to call public meeting order on 10/18/2023 at 9:30. If we'd all stand, please. Moment of silence. I don't need to say a whole lot about what's going on around the world, and I think it's vitally important that we reflect and think about those that are suffering so much right now. So it's where my heart's at. Thank you very much for a moment of silence, followed by the pledge. Now our pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Kwanzaa, don't sit down. We have today, first thing on the agenda, why don't you come up here? Okay, face it through. Is public hearing on the 2023-24 Human Services Plan, funding for Homeless Assistance Program, HAP, and Human Services Development Fund, HSDF. And Kwanzaa Smith is our second in, well, she's co-person. Yeah, right. Very in our grants department. So Jennifer is at a conference, and Kwanzaa's take over. Go ahead. Today.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. So I'm going to read the Human Services Plan. The Pennsylvania Department of Human Services requires counties to develop a plan to administer funds under the Human Services Block Grant. Monroe County is a Human Services non-block grant community where the Carbon Monroe Pike Joinder Board oversees the administration of the mental health, developmental services, and drug and alcohol components of making up 3 parts of the Human Services Plan. The Homeless Assistance Program, HAP, and the Human Services Development Fund, HSDF, are administered by each individual county separately. The Monroe County Fiscal Affairs Office administrators HAP funding in the amount of $50,195. And HSDF funding in the amount of $93,507. Monroe County is required to complete a human services plan and budget for these component areas, which you guys have. In the homeless assistance program, we plan to serve 250 individuals. 50 individuals will be served through Pocono Transitional Housing, which will provide short-term housing and support services to homeless people in Monroe County. The primary goal of the Pocono Area Transitional Housing is for participants to obtain and maintain permanent housing after receiving counseling on personal finance, employment, education, job training, and doing. 200 individuals will receive emergency shelter services from Women's Resources, which is now Safe Monroe, the Salvation Army, and Family Promise of Monroe County. Safe Monroe participants receive counseling services to assist planning for future safety, education about community resources and problem solving, assessing, transportation, child care, and worker training. The Salvation Army and Family Promise offers case management to acquire permanent housing and other needed services. In the Human Services Development Fund, we plan to serve 125 individuals. 73 individuals who are blind, visually impaired, will receive escorted transportation services from Sites for Hope to access medical appointments, food supplies, agency services, all empower them to maintain highest level of independence. 12 individuals with mental health and developmental issues will be assisted in Carbon Monroe Pike mental health development services. Community residential services will be provided for adults securing or maintaining housing that is safe and affordable through service planning, transportation, and 40 children and their parents will serve through the Pocono Service for Families and Children's Family Advocate, which utilizes a 2-generational approach. Family advocates will work directly with enrolled families for education, housing, healthcare, employment goals, financial stability, and any additional resources needed to assist families in reaching stability and personal goals. Any questions?
How much was the grant?
Let's see. It looks like it was 50,195 for HAP and 93,507 for HSTF. Yes,
Do you mind if I ask a question?
absolutely.
So how is this going to alleviate the already stressed housing situation we have here? Is it going to help or, because I know I do work with women's resources, so we're always struggling to find some type of shelter. So will this help alleviate some of that stress on the housing?
I think it's gonna help support some of the housing initiatives. We do have a ways to go, and I know that the nonprofit organizations, along with Jennifer Stroud, are all working on some affordable housing initiatives. And, you know, as a grant department, we're certainly looking for affordable housing grant funding and other opportunities. It's not gonna solve the problem, but it will help.
Molly, can you tell me, you want the sausage in the eggs? Yeah. You need white? 3 eggs or 2 eggs?
Order up 3.
If you don't have to worry about that question. That certainly lightens the mood.
The other thing I was gonna say is certainly, we really taking a much more active role and really, that we've always tried to help people in need. That's always been part of Monroe County. But I think it's much more of an active role, and even the whole counseling component for families to help them move from one into a more positive once it goes away for them. Yeah, there has to be some long-term change within that family.
Right, it's kind of like we've got quite a bit of, we're working on programs that are wraparound services. So instead of just, trying to solve one problem for a particular family, we're helping them with various areas of social services so that, we can alleviate the problem on a permanent basis versus just finding them, housing and then leaving them. Exactly.
So what's been the impact of the expiration of ERAP, the Emergency Rental Assistance Program, on the number of people who are finding it difficult to find appropriate housing?
Yeah, with the ERAP program going away, it's a huge impact. And as you can see, I did give you guys their percentage. There's been like a 73 and 84%, I believe. I don't have the paper in front of me. Increase of unsheltered.
74 and 86.
86. So yes. So yeah, there's a huge impact. With the ERAP funding going away. We're working really hard to, with the nonprofits to try to figure out how we can better assist and support these families. Yeah, so we're working on it. And there's also been an influx of aliens and immigrants as well. So that's the reason for the increase.
I think some of what ERAP did was provide funding for people to stay in homes, but there was, in my humble opinion, little counseling on, and you can give somebody money to help them stay in a home, but unless you really work with them one-on-one over an extended period of time, they have no way of changing their lifestyle.
Absolutely.
So that when the money runs out, they've got someplace to go. Or some skills to rely on.
Exactly.
So the counseling and the therapy and the work that's done in that regard probably pays great dividends down the road.
Absolutely. Yeah, so we're looking for funding for various programs to partner with various organizations here in the county so that we can create that. It's kind of like that concept of I can give you a fish or I can teach you how to fish. And certainly, there are programs that we're looking at for this upcoming year to support the nonprofits and again, creating those wraparound services. So it's just not taking care of one area. I think that like for eRapid, people kind of maybe looked at it as a source of income and not necessarily something temporary to get them back on their feet. So we're working to create programs that will assist and help, individual families get out of their condition.
Thank you. Any other questions from?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. City Tribal, Chief Assessor, corrections to the duplicate.
We have additions of 249,580. We have subtractions of 2,038,760. Or minus 1,789,180. Just a little note, the majority of the subtractions is in Stratford Borough for the I-80. So they took a lot of properties and a lot of buildings that now have come off the tax. But the majority of that subtraction is in Stratford for I-80.
Motion to accept the.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Okay, second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Thank you. Public comment, agenda items only this time. Okay, seeing none at this point, moving on to old business. Do I hear a motion to approve the items listed in the minutes of the 10/4/2023 Commissioners meeting?
Request.
And then the acknowledgement receipt of the following requests for proposals for the correctional facility chiller project. Oh, okay, that's all right.
Yeah, so moved.
1 and 2. Okay.
Second.
First and second. Any further discussion on that? Okay, hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, no proclamations or certificates today. Moving on to new business. Do I hear a motion to approve the items listed in the personnel agenda?
So moved.
First and second, any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Moving on to number 2. Electronic financial transactions ratifying. Do I hear a motion to approve the actions listed in number 2, items A, B, and C?
So moved. I'll second that. Thank you.
We have a first and second, any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Moving on to number 3. Do I hear a motion to approve the actions listed in number 3, travel authorizations, approving and ratifying? Item A.
So moved. Second.
First and second, any questions or discussion? Okay, hearing none, seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Number 4, Monroe County Children and Youth Services. Do I hear a motion to approve the actions listed in number 4, item A?
So moved. Second.
We have first and second, any discussion, questions? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Moving on to number 5, Commissioner's Office. Do I hear a motion to approve the actions listed in number 5, items A through R?
So moved. Thank you. I'll second that.
Okay, we have first and second. Any questions or discussion?
It's on item E. It's not the change order necessarily, but an update on where the courthouse project stands at this point, when people will be moving and when it'll be over, if ever.
It's gonna be over.
Once upon a time. We are currently bringing in furniture for the new courthouse center. We have a meeting, I think on early November, the first or second week in November, that will bring the cutover of water into that building. You cannot get a certificate of occupancy without that. So I think it's the 9th that we have that. And once we secure our certificate of occupancy, then we can actually move people in. We're getting closer and closer every day to have that realization of that building being occupied. We are continuing to do work in what we call the annex and the original courthouse. The basement of the original courthouse is emptied. Second floor and most of the third floor, there are a couple of people that are up in the attic garret area, the court reporters, but we are still moving back and forth in processes. You might have remembered about a month ago, we had a power outage at the courthouse. We lost a transformer. Shortly thereafter, they brought the new service online from PPNL, and we have started to backfeed our new transformer so that we can wean off the one that we have in place temporarily. That should be in place for another month or two.
In terms of overall completion of the entire project?
Probably late summer of next year.
2024.
Yep. And since you're asking me questions, Dr. Moyer, and
These are softballs down the middle.
oh yes, they are, and I do appreciate that. And it is what we just Kwanzaa just informed us about is the approval of the human service plan. Just wanted to point that out to everybody. The other thing that was interesting is that agreement with ASL Mechanical for the chiller. That is almost a 2-year process to get the equipment. So when people tell you that there are supply chain problems, there are definitely supply chain
That's for the correctional facility.
problems.
Item I.
Is there going to be an open house prior to, like, for the public to view when it's all done?
I'm sure there will be a walkthrough for the public. I am not on that committee.
Why?
But I'm sure we'll be talking about that in the future.
I'll make brownies.
Okay, then we'll definitely,
She's very.
we'll get you an invite. Jim.
Okay.
I nominate Christie for the walkthrough committee.
I'll second that. All right, any other further questions? On the commissioner's section right there.
On
Item J, okay.
execute an agreement with Co-Stars at Phoenix Graphics Inc. to provide mailing services, ballot election printing.
Mhm.
What type
Yep.
of mailing service?
It is a printer that has the ability to mail also. So they will be printing the ballots and mailing the ballots out. If you remember, what happens is that when you get a application for a mail-in ballot, that comes back to the elections office, and when the ballots go out, there is a data drop to that organization, whoever your printer mailer is, and then they send out the ballots to the people up and to until a couple of weeks before. If more people apply for a ballot, that is then dropped again, and up until the point where we cannot comfortably feel that you would receive your ballot in time, and then we mail it from our offices. They're out of New York State, and they've, yes, sir.
I just want to point out, this is just a change in companies. We've been doing this for the past 3 years. It's just we're changing companies. Just to make it easy, this is something that's not new. We're going from the
Right.
company Rundeck that we use now to a new company called Phoenix.
Different company.
Rundeck was in Arizona, Phoenix is in New York State. Kind of helps on delivery times. And an awful lot of counties in the state of Pennsylvania use Phoenix. So we have a failure of that they'll do a good job for us.
Thank you.
All right, can I ask another question? So
Which
What's
I,
O? What is acronyms under O?
VOCA is victims of
Criminal acts,
criminal,
victims
victims,
of criminal acts.
right. So what that does is that it allows us to pay people to help people navigate through the justice system. Okay, so if you were a victim of a criminal act and you have to testify and so on, we have people that will help you navigate that process.
sorry, what one?
Domestic relations.
Okay, through domestic relations.
Yes, through domestic.
Okay,
So this is the time to ask a question. I'm just curious.
which one, John?
What's, at 5C, what's the new festival? That's what we need, another festival. I'm just curious to know what that is.
It is a music festival?
Which one? No, she's doing a community festival. She's gonna have like yoga exhibits and have vendors.
And it's after Spooky Friday?
Yeah, Spooky Friday is
It's
during the day, and then she's doing it that evening and then the next day.
All right, thank you.
So we have to look forward to another
Festival, yay.
Very community oriented. Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Miscellaneous.
It's about number 6.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, folks. Number 6, Monroe County Municipal Waste and Management Authority. Item A.
So moved.
Second.
First and second, any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Number 7, capital outlay purchases. I have a motion to approve the actions listed in number 7, item A.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
First and second, any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And number 8, computer capital purchases. Do I hear a motion to approve the actions listed in number 8, items A and B.
So moved.
Second.
First and second, any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Miscellaneous? From either John or John. Okay. Public comment? Yeah,
So-
just make sure you say your name.
Teresa Pesh, my name.
Thank you.
And my grievance today is with the last time I was here for the meeting, is that it was said that the people in this office and other people that work for the county are not so inclined, or in so many words, to support the rights of the people. Because I said you took an oath to support our rights, and it was said that the oath doesn't have to do with our rights. But actually, in the Constitution, the first 10 amendments, the preamble to the Constitution, have to deal with the rights of the people. And I'd just like to say Amendment 9, Amendment 10. Amendment 9, the fact that certain rights of the people are listed in the Constitution does not mean that other rights may be denied or treated as less important. Also, Amendment 10, the powers that are not delegated to the United States by the Constitution are retained by the separate states or by the people. And with that said, I'd like to read the oath. I believe this is the oath that people in the county take. And this is from Article 6 on public officers in the Pennsylvania Constitution. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity. So the oath is not necessarily, if you want to look at it as an alliance, to support the Constitution and faithfully perform duties. The employee answers to support and defend the Constitution, not a supervisor, agency, or political party. And so this brings me to two different things. And one of them goes back to our voting rights. And it is known that more than half the people in America, there's various polls, that they believe that the machines are able to be breached. And so what happens is that we ask for clarification that the machines aren't breached, but all over nationwide, it's been shown that it's not just the county commissioners, it's also the Secretary of State will not let we, the people, look to see the results, the post-audit results, written results of the elections, and or to even look at the machines. And the machines that are owned by the vendors tell the people who are in charge of buying them that once you look into it or you change anything in it, then the warranty is not good anymore. They won't stand by their guarantee that the machine is going to work properly. So that means that the people of the county, of the state, are committed to the vendors, are committed to what the vendors say, not what we the people say. So that's one aspect of it, and the machines can be breached. And recently, it's in my phone, and I don't want to take time to look for it, but a major cloud company named Blackborn or something as such, is they have over 100,000 different companies that they have a cloud for, and they got breached, and that was just in the last 2 months. So if a company that supports clouds for all these different companies across the world can get breached, then why can't we get breached in our local voting areas, like in where the votes are being counted, where they're being calculated on the machines? And then the other thing I'd like to bring up is that yesterday I attended the Chestnut Hill supervisor meeting last night, and 12 out of at least 25 people that were there were stating that they did not want the solar panels to be put in areas that were deemed, even if it's in the past, deemed agricultural, or to put the solar panels where there's greenery, where there's trees, where there's grass, where there's wildlife. And so I was told at that meeting is that the county commissioners also have to deal with what money gets funded where. And this is what I was told, and this is what we talked about before. But I'd just like to bring attention to the committee is that most of the people that live in the area, they want to preserve the area in its most natural state. That's why most of us moved to Pennsylvania that aren't already here. And so we, the people, want to be heard. And we don't just want to not to be reassured. We want people that are elected in office to actually follow through what they say they're going to do before the election and after. Thank you.
Can I ask you a question, Teresa? Sure. Would you be willing or are you able to provide the sources that you got this information from?
Yes.
Okay. I'll give you my phone number. Let's see it.
Anything else?
I will state land use is at a township level, not on a county level. That's right. And funding that the county has is for, in the West End for the most part, is for farmland preservation. Over a third of Monroe County is preserved. All that information with regard to whether you could put a solar farm on what would be a farm is all land use within the township. The county has no say over how they use their lands like that. If I'm not mistaken, Pocono Township gave approval for the 70 or 80 meg solar farm up there. But what they did was they were able to have, they worked with BWA and other organizations to prevent, put in retention ponds so that the streams were not affected, and also changed how they would construct the pedestals for the panels. So there's oftentimes a give and take back and forth how things are done.
So we talked about balance within an area.
And then we also talked about the money. So the money, the state and federal money passes through here, or it still passes through the township?
So it all depends, most of it comes through us.
Yeah.
You know,
But the other thing is our county planning commission also follows all these different initiatives as well. And at their monthly meetings, they talk about there are all these different, but it's through the township that they're following it.
if you put your farm in a preserved farm, you still have to farm it. Can't let it go fallow. So whether it's growing hay or growing soybeans or corn, there still has to be a crop on it to be eligible for your protection.
We've preserved between, I've forgotten the exact number, but it's between 100 and 110 farms thus far with no end in sight to preserve farmland. So it's an active program that continues.
I know that one of the things they discussed yesterday, and I'm new to the solar panel discussion, but it was about a particular farm that this person wants to sell to Samsung, who's putting in the solar panels. And so the people are against that, even though it's that person's right to sell it for whatever they want. But the people yesterday, like I said, there were at least 12 people that spoke up multiple times with the supervisors, was about digging up green areas, digging up places where there's grass and trees just to put solar panels in. And so it has to do with, it's more than just places that are deemed agricultural and are going to stay that way. So they're looking at, like, why not put it at a place where it's more corporate, more business center, places that are already dug up instead of digging up fresh land. But I guess that's not your.
It's all zoning, so, yeah. Okay.
That's what we just.
Yeah, we did, we talked about.
Yeah, the solar farms actually in Old Town, on the other side of Walnut.
We're all the same county though.
I
So.
understand that. But she explained that these things are regulated.
Okay, any other thing? All right, thank you. Sir, read your name, please.
Danny Mac.
Thank you. Well, we need it for the record then.
Okay, Danny Mac. Okay, I have a question about parking in this area.
Okay.
Who's in charge of where signs go and the fines?
Or Strasburg.
This area right here, the borough.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Because I've seen people complaining about, there seems to be a violation of the Eighth Amendment where it's undue fines given for parking in this area. Like, I heard that parking with the meters are $30 and parking up a quarter block from here, it's $50 fines. And there's signs up there that people are only allowed to park there unless they have a permit. And the ticket's a $50 fine, just outrageous. And if there's nobody up there getting injured by somebody parking there, there's no crime. I mean,
Borough regulations.
borough regulations. Okay, who's in charge of that? You know?
Council
Borough council and the
and Manager.
borough manager.
Who's the borough manager?
Coop. Okay, Lawrence Coop.
K-O-P. Yeah. Oh.
The officers, the other intersection over here. That building where the firehouse is, when
Yeah.
that's their offices on the second floor.
Oh, it's K-O-P-P. Lawrence, Lawrence, K-O-P-P.
So they determine how much fines to be.
Correct.
Yeah, the Borough Council. They set those regulations. Okay. All right, hearing none, seeing none, anything else? Do I hear a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Yeah.
Thank you.